Over 600 million Africans don't have access to energy, and this is having a major impact in developing the continent. That's one of the issues that will dominate the African Development Bank Group's annual meeting in the Ghanaian capital, Accra. The conference will officially commence on Monday with over 3,000 participants expected to attend. SABC News international reporter Khayelihle Khumalo joins us now from West Africa. Khayelihle, why is this gathering, in fact, so important as Africa is grappling with challenges, and of course these are a culmination of what we are seeing unfolding in that Russia-Ukraine conflict?
Well, that's right, Bongiwe. So it is a very important gathering as quite a number of delegations will be descending to the Ghanaian capital. So in the main, it's about those very critical issues arising from the conflict. In fact, the finance ministers here in the continent, they talk about the three dreaded Fs. So they talk about the rising food prices, the rising fuel prices as well, but also the rising financial conditions as well. So hence, this particular meeting comes at a very critical point as the continent as well is revitalizing itself, but also mainly due to the impact of COVID-19. Quite a number of African economies were battered by the pandemic. So this is a very significant opportunity to rework, to also rebalance their plans in terms of making sure that they're able to assist the Africans who have been bearing the brunt, but also this is a very important moment for this particular bank. It has a very significant role to play in terms of driving economic growth in the continent, but also enabling the infrastructure. We know the backlog, significant of billions of dollars, are needed to try and meet the needs of the continent.
And Kai, of course, that coupled with the issue of climate change as well, I wonder if it is also going to feature there. Tell us more.
Well, very much so, especially because not far from where we are here in Ghana, there's a Sahel region where, most part of the area really is a desert. But also when you look at the Horn of Africa as well, we've seen very crippling drought in the southern part of the continent as well. Very devastating floods. So by all accounts, it's going to feature prominently how to build the economies that are resilient, but also the energy transition as well to renewable means, so that we just don't have a reliance, especially on the energy that is really just contributing significantly to the gas emissions. So it's going to be one of the main issues that the leaders will be looking at. So far, we're still awaiting for the confirmation in terms of some of the heads of state who will be descending down here to the Ghanaian capital. But of course, during the course of the week, we'll get an opportunity as well to interact with the president of the African Development Bank.
Now, Kai, you spoke about, of course, the rising cost of living being one of the key issues there. You look at, COVID-19, it has, in fact, also played a role when it comes to issues of food security. And you talk about this bank being critical when it comes to the raising of funds, also the, attempts to try and end that infrastructure backlog. Let's talk then about how this issue of, COVID-19 is also going to feature on the agenda, as well as the handling of it thereof, and even some support for countries impacted by this.
We know for the longest time one of the very central challenges that faced the continent at the height of COVID-19 was around the access of the vaccines. But of course now that has changed quite dramatically in terms of the access of the vaccines. We've seen quite a number of partners coming to the continent with their donations and stuff. But also something that is very important at this particular point, we do know that the African Development Bank Group has set aside $1.5 billion. So that particular money is going to be used in terms of cushioning the African economies. We know that so far over 40 African countries are severely exposed with the current conflict in Ukraine. So a lot of them do rely from the wheat from Ukraine, soya beans and maize. So really this is going to be really a shot in the arm in terms of assisting them quite substantially to be able to navigate these very terribly hard times in the continent, especially because another very important issue that will be very key for the leaders, Bonge, will be around peace in the continent. We know where we are standing in West Africa. We have seen quite a number of coups, attempted coups. So if you really want to see development, if you want to see the economy is really growing, peace is a very prerequisite to enable that really just good economy to flourish. So that would be one of the issues that the leaders will be looking at trying to strengthen, but also making sure that people do understand why it's important to have peace, to make sure that they're able to kickstart those economies that have been terribly affected by COVID-19, but now by the ongoing conflict as well between Ukraine and Russia.
All right, Khaya will continue to monitor this conference through your eyes there as you then track those developments around these particular conversations that are to be held at this conference that is expected to start on Monday. That's Khayelihle Khumalo. They're coming to us live from Accra in Ghana. And remember, this is the African Development Bank Group's annual meeting that is being held in Accra, and Khayelihle will be tracking developments.